Good evening and welcome everybody to this solar eclipse edition of NBR. And that eclipse brought midday darkness and excitement across parts of the country. You could see the enthusiasm outside the New York Stock Exchange, where traders and tourists flooded the streets to look up at the sky. But inside the exchange, the light was muted. Trading was quiet, volume was light, but don't think for a minute nothing is happening in this market. New lows today eclipsed new highs. We had to do it. Some say investors are becoming jittery, even though the Dow and the S&P 500 were higher for the first day in 3 sessions. A closer look shows the indexes are being pulled back down to earth, on track for their worst month of the year. Today, the Dow Jones Industrials rose 29 points to 21,703, but Nasdaq fell 3 points. Meantime, the S&P was up a modest 2. But it is small cap stocks, the Russell Index, that is getting a lot of attention these days. It tends to start and lead declines, and today it turned negative for the year. Pisani has more.
Stocks were mixed today, but the Dow is still on track to post its worst monthly performance since October of last year. You know, we've seen something we haven't seen in some time. We saw a sell-off in the last 2 weeks, followed by no bounce. That's strange. Traders just aren't buying stocks after a decline like they used to. Is this worrisome? We don't know. One particular red flag some market experts have been pointing to is the Russell 2000. This is an index of small cap companies. It fell into negative territory for the year right at the open this morning and is now down 7% from its all-time high. It hit just in July. The big cap S&P 500 is still up 8% for the year. So what's going on? Some believe it's due to leadership doubts about President Donald Trump and the ability to get his tax cut program through. The Russell really has been failing ever since the health care bill failed. That's an issue. So smaller cap companies tend to get most of their revenues from within the United States. They don't have the luxury of parking their profits overseas like a lot of multinational companies. They need the money here in the United States. It looks like some are now downgrading the hopes of pro-growth policies like tax cuts from the Trump administration. That may be what the Russell sell-off is about. Now, we'll see if that turns around in September, as the president and the Congress said they would turn to tax reform in earnest. There's a lot riding on this one right now. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Bob Pisani at the New York Stock Exchange.